Here's a truth we don't hear enough. Growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means learning how to speak your body's new language. See, after 60, it's not that your muscles can't grow back, it's that they're waiting for the right signal to do so. The mistake: most people think strength is only about exercise or eating more. But the real power lies in how your cells respond, and whether or not they're even listening anymore. There's a term for what happens when they stop listening: sarcopenia. It's not just muscle loss, it's a silent shift that affects your entire life. Your balance, your blood sugar, even your confidence walking down the stairs. And yet, very few people talk about what's really behind it. But today we will. Because the truth is, your body still remembers how to rebuild. It just needs the right trigger. And science has found one. Now, before you picture expensive pills or extreme diets, take a breath. This isn't about overhauling your life. It's about activating something already inside you, a molecular switch. And that switch is flipped by one tiny but mighty molecule: leucine. Leucine isn't just a building block of protein. It's a signal, a command to your body that says, it's time to grow. Your muscles don't build just because you ate some chicken or lifted a dumbbell. They build when leucine levels cross a certain threshold, a signal your brain and cells understand. Especially one pathway called mTOR, your body's internal construction manager. But here's the challenge. As we age, mTOR becomes harder to activate. The signal gets weaker. That means you can eat the same food and do the same workout you did in your 30s, but see half the results. Unless you know how to amplify that signal, and it's simpler than you think. A single scoop of high-quality whey protein rich in leucine, a plate of eggs and salmon, or even a leucine-fortified plant shake if you're plant-based. But here's the trick. It's not just what you eat, it's when. Your muscles are most ready to rebuild in the hour after movement. And that's when you want to feed them protein, leucine, and a little carbohydrate to help it all absorb. Miss that window, and the signal fades, but nail it consistently. You don't just feel stronger, you think sharper, move easier, and even sleep deeper. Because rebuilding muscle doesn't just change your body. It rewires your nervous system, restoring the connection between your brain and your strength. This isn't about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming vitality, about walking into a room and feeling grounded, not because your muscles are huge, but because you trust them again. So let me ask you, are you giving your muscles the signal they need to stay alive? Because strength isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's personal, and it's still within your reach, no matter your age. You just have to flip the switch. Most people over 50 think they're doing everything right. They're eating clean, getting in a walk, maybe even lifting some weights. And yet, the muscle just isn't coming back. The arms feel softer, the legs slower, and the frustration builds. You might wonder, is this just aging? The answer is no. It's something much more specific. It's called anabolic resistance, and it's one of the most overlooked reasons older adults struggle to rebuild strength. Let me explain. Your muscles rely on a signal to start growing. That signal comes from a powerful nutrient called leucine, found in protein-rich foods. But as we get older, that signal gets quieter. We stop hearing it. Or more accurately, our cells do. So even if you're eating enough protein, your body may not be responding to it the way it once did. In fact, studies show that after age 50, you may need 35–50% more leucine per meal than someone in their 20s just to spark the same muscle growth response. Now let's get practical. 1 egg, that's only about half a gram of leucine. You'd need 5 eggs just to hit the threshold. Most people don't come close. So what does work? Simple. At each meal, especially after exercise and at dinner, aim for at least 5 to 3 grams of leucine, paired with 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein. That could be a scoop of whey isolate blended into Greek yogurt, a palm-sized portion of chicken or beef, or a fortified plant protein shake if you're vegetarian. Not complicated, just intentional. And here's a powerful tip most people miss: Timing matters. Within 30 minutes after you move your body, whether it's strength training or a brisk walk, your muscle cells are primed to grow. This is the perfect window to feed them. According to leading sports nutrition research, consuming leucine-rich protein in that short window dramatically increases your body's ability to rebuild, even if you're over 60. Now you might be asking, can I just take a leucine pill? Technically, yes. Free-form leucine has been shown in clinical trials to help older adults trigger growth. But here's the catch. Leucine alone is like a spark with no fuel. To truly build muscle, your body still needs the full orchestra, the other essential amino acids that come from complete proteins. So don't just chase the spark, feed the whole system. That's how you turn your meals into recovery tools, your dinner table into your training partner. Because when you restore lean muscle, you're not just gaining strength. You're balancing your blood sugar. You're reducing inflammation. You're even boosting the tiny engines in your cells, your mitochondria, that fuel energy, clarity, and vitality. In short, leucine isn't just about muscle. It's about momentum. So ask yourself, are you crossing that threshold at each meal, or just assuming your protein is enough? Because if you're not measuring it, you might be missing it. And that small gap, that's exactly where sarcopenia, the slow fade of strength, slips in. But it doesn't have to. In the next chapter, we'll look at why resistance training by itself often fails after 40, and how the right nutrient timing can transform every rep into real, visible, lasting strength. You've done the hard part, you showed up. You moved your body, you pushed through the workout, and yet weeks go by and the scale doesn't budge. The mirror doesn't change, your strength feels stuck, and you wonder, why am I not seeing results? Here's a truth very few people talk about. Effort without precision leads to frustration. Especially after 40, building muscle isn't just about resistance, it's about response. Yes, lifting weights still helps. But the stress alone, without the right nutrients at the right time, is like pressing the gas pedal with an empty tank. Your muscles don't just grow from exercise, they grow from what you feed them right after. And as you age, that window, where your body is most receptive to recovery, gets smaller. In your 20s, that window might be open for 3-4 hours, but after 60, sometimes you have just 60 to 90 minutes to deliver the building blocks your body needs. Think of it like this. You've got construction workers on site after your workout. They're ready. But if the materials don't arrive on time, nothing gets built. That's where nutrient timing becomes your secret weapon. Here's your protocol. Within 30 to 60 minutes of finishing your workout, get at least 5 grams of leucine paired with 25-35 grams of complete protein. A simple whey isolate shake. A protein-packed smoothie with a banana. Or a home-cooked meal, chicken breast, quinoa, and veggies, timed to follow your movement. But here's an advanced strategy that really amplifies results. Pair your post-workout protein with a small serving of carbohydrates. Something like a sweet potato, a few berries, or even half a banana. Why? Because those carbs help trigger a gentle insulin response. And that insulin, it acts like a shuttle, driving amino acids into your muscles more efficiently. No, this isn't about spiking sugar or eating junk. It's about using your biology to your advantage. Now let's bring this into real life. Ever finished a workout and thought, I'll eat later? Then got pulled into a phone call or skipped dinner altogether. That tiny delay. It matters more than you think. Because by the time you remember to eat, the window has already closed. And the muscle you just worked so hard to activate, it misses the chance to rebuild. So here's a behavioral trick I recommend to every client over 50. Plan your post-workout nutrition before you even start moving. Set out your shake, prep your meal, remove the decision fatigue. That one habit changes everything. Because once you start fueling with precision, you'll feel the difference. Your recovery speeds up, your soreness fades faster, and week by week your strength grows back, and more than anything you'll feel in control again. That quiet confidence, That sense of momentum in your body, it's one of the most empowering feelings in the world. So if this message is hitting home, if you're starting to see your workouts not as punishment, but as a signal, one your body can now respond to with purpose, then stick with us. Because in this space we don't chase youth. We build vitality. One choice, one meal, one rep at a time. We've talked a lot about your muscles, but now let's shift the spotlight. Because the truth is, what controls your strength isn't just in your arms or legs. It's in your brain. Yes, what often holds people back after 60 isn't just physical, it's neurological. And if you've ever felt like your muscles just don't respond the way they used to, or that your balance is off, or that you're slower to react than before, it might not be weakness, it might be disconnection. See, every movement you make begins with an electrical signal from your brain. That signal travels down your spinal cord, through your nerves, and lands in your muscles, telling them to contract. It's called the brain-to-muscle loop. And in your youth, that loop is lightning fast. You move without thinking, you adjust without wobbling, you rise from a chair without hesitation. But as we age, those signals get fuzzier. Motor neurons begin to die off. The connection between your brain and your muscles weakens. And suddenly, strength isn't just harder to build, it's harder to access. This is why someone in their 70s can still have muscle but feel unstable climbing stairs. The muscle's there. The brain just isn't talking to it as clearly anymore. But here's the powerful truth. You can reignite that conversation. You can rebuild the loop. And when you do, strength flows back, not just to your body but to your confidence. So how do you do it? It starts with one shift in mindset. Don't just move harder, move smarter. Instead of racing through exercises, slow them down. Try a simple 3-1-3 tempo, 3 seconds to lift. Hold for 1, 3 seconds to lower. Feel every inch of the movement. Don't rely on momentum, make your brain do the work. When you train like this, you're not just building muscle fibers, you're training your nervous system to fire with precision. Want to take it further? Add a little instability. Unilateral movements, like a single-leg deadlift or standing shoulder press, force your brain to coordinate balance, posture, and force all at once. It's like a mental workout and a physical one. But here's something even more surprising. Your thoughts during the workout matter. Yes, really. Science now shows that just focusing your mind on the muscle you're using, what trainers call the mind-muscle connection, can dramatically increase muscle activation. In fact, people who consciously engage with their movement recruit more motor units, grow faster, and even improve balance and reaction time over time. So next time you're exercising, ask yourself, am I present? Or am I just going through the motions? Because even a small shift in focus, just 10% more attention, can make a powerful difference in your results. And it's not just about muscles. These intentional, brain-powered movements light up regions of the brain involved in memory, attention, and motor planning. You're not just getting stronger, you're sharpening your mind. You're building neural resilience. And that's the magic of the brain-muscle loop. When it's awake, you feel more grounded, more responsive, more you. So if you've been feeling like your strength is slipping away, know this: the muscle may still be there. It's the conversation that needs to come back to life. And the good news, it can. Every time you move with presence, with focus, with intention, you're not just building strength. You're reconnecting the very system that makes you agile, sharp, and alive. Because elder wisdom isn't just about remembering who you were, it's about reclaiming who you still are. And your brain is ready to lead the way. If you've been feeling like your body just doesn't bounce back the way it used to, if strength seems harder to regain, and energy feels more fragile than ever, this next shift might be the missing link. Because even if you're exercising, even if you're eating well, your body might still be missing the signal to grow. And the problem could lie in how and when you're eating your protein. For decades we were told, eat small meals throughout the day. A little yogurt here, a few nuts there. It sounds balanced, even healthy. But when it comes to building or rebuilding muscle, especially after 50, science says otherwise. Your muscles don't respond to frequent nibbles. They respond to thresholds. And unless you're reaching that threshold in a single meal, your body may never flip the muscle-building switch. Let's break it down. Muscle protein synthesis, the process that repairs and grows lean tissue, is triggered when a specific amount of leucine enters your system. Think of leucine as the key in the ignition. Without enough of it in one sitting, the engine never starts. And here's what researchers have found. That threshold is usually 5 to 3 grams of leucine, paired with around 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein. Anything less, and your body stays in idle. In fact, a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Nutrition found this stunning insight. Adults who ate 3 properly sized protein meals built far more muscle than those who spread the same total protein across 5 tiny meals. Same calories, same total protein, but very different results. Why? Because those 3 meals hit the switch. The 5 snacks, they just poked at it. Here's the visual. Imagine your muscle system as a light switch. You either flip it fully or you don't. Tapping it gently 5 times a day won't light up the room. So what's the better strategy? Instead of grazing, aim for 3 intentional, protein-optimized meals, spaced about 4 to 6 hours apart. Each meal should include 30 to 40 grams of complete protein, 5 to 3 grams of leucine, and optionally, a bit of complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes or lentils to help with amino acid absorption and energy balance. This approach does 3 powerful things. It maximizes muscle synthesis every time you eat. It keeps your muscles nourished longer, preventing breakdown. And it reduces low-grade insulin spikes, which over time contribute to inflammation and unwanted weight gain. Now let's talk about the most neglected but critical meal of the day, breakfast. This is where most people fall short. A slice of toast, a banana, maybe a little cereal, but here's the truth. Breakfast is often where muscle building fails. Because it's all carbs and almost no signal. Let's change that. Make your first meal of the day a high-protein, leucine-rich event. A few examples: 3 eggs, Greek yogurt, and a scoop of protein powder. A tofu scramble with lentils and a fortified soy shake. Cottage cheese, almonds, and fresh berries, with added leucine if needed. And if you work out in the morning, even more reason to get this right. After movement, your body is like a sponge, ready to absorb. Miss that window and the benefits vanish. So don't just feed your body, signal it. Structure your meals like you mean it. Not for vanity, but for energy, for strength, for independence. Because after 50, food isn't just fuel, it's your messenger. And what it says when it says it can either wake up your muscles or let them fade into silence. Most people think muscle is built in the gym or at the dinner table. But what if I told you the most powerful tool for rebuilding strength requires no effort at all? Because your body does its most important repair work when you're not even awake. Yes, I'm talking about sleep, deep, restorative sleep. And if you're over 50 and trying to regain energy, strength, and vitality, this may be the missing piece of the puzzle. See, it's during sleep, especially the deep stages, that your body releases growth hormone, one of the key messengers that tells your body, it's time to rebuild. It's when your muscles repair the microscopic damage from movement. It's when collagen is formed, fat is metabolized, and muscle stem cells get activated. In short, sleep is when the magic happens. But here's the challenge. As we get older, deep sleep becomes harder to reach. The very stage that supports muscle, memory, and metabolism begins to fade. Studies show that by our 40s and 50s, growth hormone production can drop by half. And for women post-menopause, the decline can be even steeper. So what can we do? Here's the good news. There are simple, science-backed strategies to reclaim your nighttime recovery. First, feed your muscles before bed. A slow-digesting protein like casein, found in cottage cheese or a nighttime protein shake, can keep your body fueled through the night. Research shows that 40 grams of casein before bed can boost overnight muscle protein synthesis and reduce muscle breakdown. Second, protect your sleep quality. Your brain needs specific conditions to reach deep sleep. Keep your room cool, ideally around 60-67 degrees Fahrenheit. Turn off screens an hour before bed. Blue light disrupts your body's melatonin cycle. And give yourself a calming wind-down ritual. Read, stretch, practice slow breathing. Let your nervous system shift from go mode to grow mode. Because here's the truth, you don't grow stronger during your workout. You grow stronger after it. And the deepest gains happen in the dark and silence when your body is finally allowed to heal. So tonight, don't just sleep. Recover. Give your body the space to do what it was designed to do, rebuild you. Because strength after 60 isn't just physical, it's strategic. And every hour of quality sleep is a quiet act of resilience. Think of your body at night like a garden. You've tilled the soil through movement. You've planted the seeds with protein. But without the right nighttime conditions, nothing grows. So before we move into the final piece of this puzzle, let's complete the routine. Your recovery begins long before your head hits the pillow. One of the most overlooked tips for muscle recovery is timing your workouts to align with your biology. Yes, movement at any time is better than none. But science shows that late night, high-intensity exercise can actually delay melatonin release, the very hormone that puts you into deep, regenerative sleep. Instead, try moving earlier in the day, late morning or early afternoon. That simple shift can help your body release more natural growth hormone at night, which acts as your internal muscle builder while you rest. And here's a hidden saboteur: poor sleep tracking. You might think you're getting 8 hours, but how much of that is deep sleep? Studies now show that many older adults spend very little time in the stages of sleep that actually repair the body. So if you wake up feeling groggy, stiff, or still tired, consider using a sleep tracker or wearable to monitor your quality, not just your quantity. Here's the truth: sleep is not passive. It's a high-performance protocol, and when optimized, it becomes the most effortless muscle builder in your entire routine. So let's quickly recap the key takeaways from this section. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Consume 30 to 40 grams of slow-digesting protein like casein, 30-60 minutes before bed. Keep your room cool, ideally between 60 and 67 degrees F. Avoid blue light in the hour before sleep. And train earlier in the day when possible, to align with your natural rhythms. Now let's talk about something more hidden. Something that could silently be sabotaging all your efforts, even if you're training smart, eating right, and sleeping well. It's called inflammaging, a low-level chronic inflammation that creeps in with age. And left unchecked, it blocks muscle recovery at the cellular level. Here's what's really happening. When the immune system stays mildly activated all the time, due to stress, blood sugar swings, poor sleep, gut issues, or excess belly fat, it starts to release chemical messengers called cytokines. In small amounts, they're helpful. They clean up damage, promote healing. But in constant overdrive, they become destructive. They break down muscle, block insulin's ability to repair tissue, and mute your growth signals. A major study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults with high levels of these inflammatory markers, like IL-6 and TNF-alpha, had significantly less muscle mass and strength, even if they were exercising and eating well. It's like trying to listen to music while the static is blaring. The signal's there, but it can't get through. So, how do we turn down that static? Here are 5 science-backed strategies to lower inflammation and restore your muscle-building potential. 1. Control blood sugar swings. Big spikes and crashes send your body into inflammatory chaos. Try front-loading your meals with protein and fiber, especially at breakfast, and take a gentle 10-minute walk after eating. This stabilizes insulin and reduces systemic inflammation. 2. Add omega-3s, but at the right dose. EPA and DHA, found in wild fish and purified supplements, actively lower inflammatory cytokines and help support lean tissue growth. Aim for 2–3 grams daily from salmon, sardines, or a high-quality supplement. And there's more to cover, from micronutrients to stress reduction. But just with these 2 tools alone, you'll be turning inflammation from an obstacle into an ally. Because remember, inflammation isn't always the villain. It's the chronic, silent kind that does the damage. And now that you understand how to turn the volume down, your recovery, your strength, your life force can finally be heard again. 3. Let's be honest, most of us were taught to fear carbs. We hear things like, cut them out if you want to stay lean, or carbs cause inflammation. But that's only part of the truth. The real problem isn't carbs. It's the ultra-processed junk that sneaks into our kitchens in colorful boxes and long ingredient lists. Refined seed oils, added sugars, artificial thickeners. These aren't just empty calories. They're inflammatory landmines that quietly wear down your gut, immune system, and yes, your muscles. But not all carbs are the enemy. In fact, some are allies if you know which ones to trust. Oats, sweet potatoes, berries. These are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and nutrients that actually lower inflammation when paired with healthy fats and proteins. So don't fall into the trap of demonizing every carb. Instead, aim to remove the synthetic clutter that taxes your body and replace it with real, whole food that nourishes your healing. Now, let's talk about another piece of the recovery puzzle that often gets overlooked: micronutrients. Vitamins and minerals may seem small, but their impact is massive, especially for older adults. Vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, and selenium all play vital roles in muscle strength and immune regulation. Deficiencies in these, especially vitamin D, have been linked to higher inflammation, lower muscle quality, and even greater fall risk in seniors. So what can you do? Start by getting your levels tested. And if you're not getting regular sunlight, consider taking 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day, along with a balanced mineral supplement. These nutrients act like keys in a lock. Without them, the muscle repair process simply doesn't turn on. Now here's something we rarely associate with muscle: stress. But chronic psychological stress, whether from life circumstances, worry, or even isolation, creates a hormonal storm inside the body. It raises cortisol, a powerful inflammatory signal that blocks growth hormone, testosterone, and protein synthesis. In short, stress robs you of the very chemistry needed to grow strong. But managing stress doesn't mean escaping life. It means building intentional recovery windows into your day. Simple practices like box breathing, yoga nidra, or even sitting in nature for 15 minutes can calm your nervous system and shift you into healing mode. Remember, inflammation isn't always bad. It's part of the body's natural repair system. But when it's always on, it shifts from repair to breakdown. That's why we don't just build muscle. We build a system that can recover, regenerate, and thrive. So let's zoom out for a moment. Muscle isn't just about size. It's about stability, energy, confidence, and independence. It's your armor against aging. And sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, isn't a life sentence. It's a challenge you can meet head-on. Let's recap the 6 strategies we've explored to help you do just that. 1. Focus on leucine-rich proteins. Think whey, eggs, lean meats. Hit that 2.5 to 3 grams per meal threshold. 2. Don't settle for the bare minimum. Most adults need 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. 3. Stop grazing. Structure 3 solid meals that hit your protein targets and flip the muscle-building switch. 4. Cut the ultra-processed foods, not the real carbs. Whole food carbs support, not sabotage, your recovery. 5. Prioritize your micronutrients. Vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc aren't optional, they're essential. 6. Manage your stress like your life depends on it, because your muscle health, your hormones, and your peace of mind actually do. Because here's the truth, you don't just age, you evolve. And every step you take with purpose, every meal, every breath, every moment of rest builds the foundation for a stronger, steadier, more vital version of you. 4. Sleep is not rest, it's recovery. And it might be the most underrated tool in your muscle-building arsenal. When you slip into deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, repairs tissue, and rebuilds strength, quietly, powerfully, without you lifting a finger. Want to make the most of it? Create an environment that invites real rest. Dim the lights early, cool your room, and try sipping a slow-digesting casein protein shake before bed to fuel overnight repair. You're not just sleeping, you're rebuilding your future strength. 5. Inflammation is the invisible thief. It creeps in through poor sleep, stress, blood sugar spikes, processed food, and silently blocks your body's ability to repair and grow. But you can take control. Balance your meals. Add omega-3s. Get your vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc. And above all, breathe. Practice small recovery rituals that reset your system from stress to healing. Because when inflammation goes down, vitality rises. 6. Recovery is just as important as training. Muscles don't grow while you're working them. They grow when you stop, when you nourish, when you rest, when you listen. So don't just chase the grind, respect the rhythm. Recovery isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Now I want to leave you with something real, a 24-hour challenge to prove to yourself what's still possible. Here it is, wake up. Drink 12 to 16 ounces of water with a pinch of sea salt or electrolytes. Breakfast, 35 grams of protein, maybe eggs, Greek yogurt, and a handful of berries. Midday, train. Move your body through resistance, safely, intentionally for 45 minutes. Compound movements, big muscle groups. Post-workout meal, 35 grams of protein plus slow carbs, chicken, quinoa, leafy greens. Afternoon. Take a 15-minute walk. Let your body breathe. Dinner, 35 grams of protein again, like salmon with sweet potato and broccoli. 1 hour before bed, have a casein protein shake. Turn off screens. Let your body cool. Do some breath work or try NSDR, a short guided rest to calm your nervous system. Then sleep. And when you wake up the next day, check in. Notice your energy, your clarity, your body's quiet thank you. Because this isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, consistently, compassionately, day by day. That's how muscle is built. That's how independence is protected. That's how we age with strength, not just in body but in spirit. If this message spoke to you, consider liking, subscribing, or sharing it with someone who needs to hear it today. This channel isn't about hype. It's about truth, tools, and trust in your capacity to grow stronger, no matter your age. Let's keep growing together.